Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady, I really can't finish the intro. Thank you all for tuning into Kinetic Aesthetic. It's your boy Germ, the hostess with the mostest, and I did it. I watched the final episode of Euphoria. I decided I had been a part of the journey for that long that it was only right that I actually watch the ending and see how they ended up settling a lot of these characters' stories and, giving them closure. Now, for a lot of characters, there was a lack of that. There was a lack of real understanding on their motivations or what made them do the things they do. But for one character in particular, I think we all know who I'm talking about if you've seen the show. We really finally got to see what her story was going to wrap up and conclude with, and I'm fucking devastated. I'm still fucking hurt. So I'm going to give a little bit of a breakdown. I'm going to give a little bit of a recap. I may go into some tangents. I really want to talk about a certain character's big moments about how they're about the wrap up to their whole thing, but I'm going to try to save that for last, or at least my breakdown on that as much as possible. Now, the last episode, this was episode 7. This is episode 8 that I'm reviewing. Episode 7 ends with Rue getting into Lori's old house. She's broken into the safe, and when they break in there, they don't find anything but IDs, and so Faye starts to scream. It follows off directly from there. Her neo-Nazi boyfriend wakes up. He gets his gun. He's ready to try to go crazy. Rue's able to hit him in the leg with a wrench. She's able to start making her escape and everything. She ends up getting lassoed, and she's about to be screwed over. But then Marshawn Lynch's character comes out of nowhere, shoots the motherfucker, and they're able to get away. So after that, she goes back to Alamo's place, and Alamo rewards her with some money, and he gives her drugs. This was the first red flag because we already know Alamo has gotten wind that she is working with the DEA because of Maddie's dumb ass not able to be quiet. And so I already knew if he's giving her drugs, that is not a good thing. And after that, we had a little scene with Maddie and Cassie in the diner and everything. I'm just going to say right now, this was one of the things that really pissed me off. I'm going to try to focus on the negatives first. And Maddie and Cassie and their whole lack of, I should say, a real resolution or any real idea, especially Cassie, is sort of the most infuriating part of this whole episode. Because if you're going to spend an entire season building up Cassie as having this big storyline, it was literally, this is the season of Rue and Cassie. And Cassie at the end has nothing, no real resolution, no real closure. Her husband is fucking dead. All she's doing is living in a mansion. Her and her sister don't even have any real reconciliation or real connection going. So it's just sort of crazy. But they decide they're going to just work together. They're going to stick by each other and everything like that. And so after that, it pretty much, a lot of the storyline is just dealing with Rue and her whole shit, because you've got the drugs. I didn't even mention the whole drug deal they were trying to do. The DEA, it finally does close in on Lori and her crew. Kitty and Big Eddie also get arrested, but Lori herself manages to escape, not because of any real maneuvering, but she just jumps off of a building and hangs herself. That was the way they decided to end her whole shit. So Lori's dead. Alamo at this point has won. Bishop was able to get the drugs away from Lori's house, avoid the DEA, and he is, he's living it up. So that takes us back to Rue. She decides to go to Ali's house. She decides that she needs to recover. Ali had helped her, I believe, and everything on it. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I really only watched 2 parts of this episode. I watched the finale, which we'll talk about, and then I watched the first 30 minutes. There was a point in this, as we're going to get into, where Rue decides to take some of the Percocets that she had gotten from Alamo just for pain. This was not for indulgence. This was not for her to just be going crazy or get lit. This was because she was in real pain. And so there's a sequence that starts. She wakes up in the morning to the news that Fez has escaped from prison. He used some parkour shit and he broke out she has to run off. She's telling Ali, I have to go get him. I promised him if he ever broke out that I would go get him. So she does. She ends up going to the store that he was in. She ends up going back towards her house. It's blocked off by police for whatever reason, everything. She's trying to convince him to let her in. Eventually she does get in to her own home. I think she had to sneak in. And she finds her mother sitting there at the table. And they both just sort of reach out for each other like this. And it's at that point where it really starts to become clear that this is a hallucination, that none of this is real. We start seeing Rue laying on this couch in Ali's house, gasping for air, calling for her mom, reaching out to her. And it's very clear what's happening to her. She's dying. And then it really shifts to the morning scene, this time for real. Ali gets up. He goes to check on her, and she is dead. 30 or 45 minutes in, Zendaya's character, the main character, Rue, is dead. I personally, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I have yet to really, I can't do it. There's also a scene they snuck in there, like they had a part where they are just showing Zendaya and Angus Cloud, the character who played Fez, just together, just happy. This is like behind the scenes footage, it looks like. And they show some shit of Zendaya's of Rue when she's with her parents when they were younger. They just show all the old footage of her meeting Jules. They show all this stuff, and it I haven't watched that part yet. I can't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry, y'all. I have developed more connection with my emotions, with just being able to just feel shit over these past couple years of my life than I ever have before. So I can't watch that right now. I will start crying. It's sort of hard for me to talk about this shit right now because I got real, as I'm going to talk about later, Rue's character was somebody that I really got attached to. If you've ever known anybody that's dealt with addiction, with any type of addiction, I'm not just talking hard drugs, I'm talking alcohol, I'm talking anything, you know how hard it is, but just how real it is to see somebody living with addiction and to see somebody that you love, and you just know that it's not like a lot of people thought that it was Zendaya's character. If Rue was going, I keep saying Zendaya, I'm trying not to think about her as just Rue. When Rue died, a lot of people were saying that if she was going to die, she was going to go out in a blaze of glory. She was going to go out in a dramatic fashion in a way that suited her character after all the crazy shit she's been through. And she just dies on a couch. She just dies on a couch. She dies. The scene is quiet. There's not a lot of noise. And it's just really heartbreaking. But I think that is what the creator Sam was going for. I think that is really what the whole notion of it was. I might be getting ahead of myself of where I wanted to like format this, but Zendaya, and this is the part of the big reason why I'm sort of struggling so much on how I feel about it, because I understand where the creator Sam was coming from. He had to rewrite the ending to this season, to the show, after Angus Cloud's death. There was originally going to be a whole different ending for Rue's character. I don't know what exactly it was going to be, but I'm definitely led to believe that she was going to live. She was going to be able to have some hope. That was something that Zendaya, the actor herself, had literally come out and said a couple of years ago. She talked about how important the character of Rue and how close she felt to her, how important she felt it was for her to have some hope at the end of the series, so that the other people who are dealing with addiction, who are close to people who are dealing with addiction, can see that there is hope in that situation. But I feel like after Angus's death, Sam just felt like he had to really write something, because, and I don't know if this is a direct quote from him, not everybody gets lucky enough to have that chance. Not you can deserve the second chance. You can be a good person. In Rue's character, despite all the shit that we have seen her do, I think that at her heart, at her core, she was a good person. So I guess he wanted to just show and just make people understand, not everybody, when you're fighting this demon, when you are dealing with this type of issue, you're not always going to get that second chance at the end. It's not always going to just be guaranteed. And I'm going to get into my personal feelings at the end, but the world has enough sad stories, y'all. It just has enough. But yes, Rue is dead. After all the time she's dead, Ali finds her on the couch. He breaks down. They show the scene of him having to call her mother. Again, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I got to the part where Rue finds her mother, and I just saw a little bit of her gasping for breath, reaching up, and I had to skip forward again. I'm not ready for the scenes. And so after that, the conclusion that we get to Maddie to Cassie's storyline is that she's just stuck in the mansion that her and Nate bought. Her and Maddie live there. She invited Lexi over. We see a little bit of them talking about Rue's death. But at the end of the day, we really don't get shit. We don't really understand how Maddie feels about it. We don't understand how Cassie feels about it. Lexi doesn't really get too much screen time. And speaking of which, Lexi was really done dirty this whole season. I don't know what the point of her being in there was, but at least she got more screen time than Jules. Yeah, I'm honestly not too sure if Jules makes any appearance in this episode. Just considering some of the parts that I skipped around, I'm not entirely sure. But I don't remember seeing her at all, so we don't get any closure at all from her. The last thing we see of her in this show is her pushing Rue over, and basically just their whole last interaction just goes to shit. And from a TV standpoint, that is horrible. That is absolutely fucking awful. I hate it, and I don't understand what the purpose of that whole scene just being the end of it, especially if Jules' involvement was. From a character standpoint, I think that it was great, and for that to be the last interaction that she has with Rue, for that to be the last time that she really gets to see her, the only thing that I don't like is that we're never going to be able to, we don't get to see how she reacts to that fact. We don't get to see how she feels about the fact that the last interaction she had with Rue was her pushing her over, was them having just that bad blow up and everything just being shitty like that. And again, I hate that it's such a sad story, and that like I said, the world does have enough sad stories. That's real. That's reality. There's people I know that I literally that I've had in my life that the last interaction I ever got to have with them was negative, wasn't great, and that eats at you. That will bother you a lot, man, when you know that you really cared about somebody, and whether they're here still or whether they're gone physically, to know that the last interaction you had with them wasn't you being able to just spill your heart out and make sure they knew how you felt one last time, making sure they knew how real the love you have for them was, and knowing that you don't have the ability to do that anymore is hell. So I don't know if there's a plan for a special episode, but there's literally so much to work with to be able to delve into when it comes to Jules and how she would react to it. So it's a missed opportunity for sure. But after that, we get the real finale of the show. At Alamo Strip Club, things are going normal. Alamo is feeling on top of the world. He is talking to Maddie about how he wants to marry her and have his kids by her. This shit is looking real bad for Maddie. After what she did for Cassie to get her out of there, it looks like she has signed herself away to Satan. And then we see Ali show up. And Ali had already pressed the pills that he had gotten, that Rue had. He had seen Alamo's name on there, so he had known some fucked up shit had gone down. And he shows up. You already know he means business. Marshawn Lynch's character runs up to him, just trying to, approach him. He's just working as a manager in the bar. Ali starts questioning him, grilling him, interviewing him. And before Marshawn Lynch's character can really, get tough, because you told him, for a regular customer, you asking a whole lot of fucking questions and starting to reach for his gun. Ali pulls out the sawed-off shotgun. Don't ask me how he snuck that shit in. He points that at, he cocks that motherfucker back, tells that man, sit your monkey ass down. And let me just tell y'all right now, the guy who played Ali, actually, I need to make sure I have this man's name correct, because I just want to give him the respect that he deserves. Coleman Domingo. That was the performance of a lifetime in this one scene, because this man, after spending this whole show, seasons 1, 2, and 3, just being a former addict, this just sort of chill, regular dude who's trying to go back to living his life, they turned this nigga into Rambo. So after questioning him and getting the information confirmed that Rue died of an OD, that Alamo was the one who owned the club and that he was there, and that the pills were supplied by him, once he told him, you lied to me, and he was going to shoot him for it, before this man can even bounce back and try to pull his shit out, shoots him in the dick. Coleman Domingo's character Ali shoots this man in the dick. The whole fucking club start going crazy. Eventually Alamo reveals himself, confronts him. This man pulled Maddie into him to use her as a human shield once Coleman pointed the shotgun at him, just to show you this nigga really is a piece of shit. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was so unsure of how things were gonna go, because at this point, you've killed Rue in the first 45 minutes. You're really just shown that you are not going to end this satisfyingly for a lot of characters. This is after we have seen Cassie's final scene. Something to myself, there's no telling if this is going to end on a good note or a bad note. We might just see some of these motherfuckers die and Alamo rides off into the sunset. But it turns out, once he decides to go for a duel, and it's crazy because Alamo's character was trying to cheat him on the duel. He pulled his gun out before they had even their signaled little start time had even hit. But there was no bullets in that motherfucker. So he's pulling the trigger and he's not getting nothing. And as it turns out, Bishop, the most interesting character in the show, the guy that I was already trying to figure out, turns out he had taken all the bullets out of the gun, left that nigga with the empty chamber. The last thing that Alamo says in the show is, "I'll see you in hell, you rat mother." And before he gets shot in his shit with a shotgun, Ali's character shoots him not once, he shoots him not twice. After this nigga is on the ground, after he is coughing up blood, after we're seeing that shit gurgle from his chest cavity, Ali's character, in one of the most dopest scenes you will ever see, tells his ass just to be safe and blows his shit back, getting blood splattered all over. And that's the end for Alamo. After that, Bishop lets him know that he had taken the bullets out, pretty much revealing that Bishop actually was a good character. And I'm going to go on a side note right for a second. This is just as far as we get in terms of Bishop's motivations and his whole interactions. We don't really see too much else. There's no concrete backstory. I believe he has some dialogue that gives a little more credence as to how things are going. He offers Maddie a ride home, so clearly he's taken a liking to her, but we don't get anything really to give us a further indication of what Bishop's character really was motivated by, if he was working with the DEA or if he was just not a fan of Alamo. We don't get any of that. Now, I did see an interview with the actor after just from yesterday, where he pretty much came out and he said, number one, Bishop was on the spectrum. The way he portrayed him and the way Sam had written him after he had shown him is that this nigga was on the spectrum. He was a little autistic. And I'm not gonna lie, it's great to have it confirmed because I definitely suspected it. The guy didn't talk. He was so direct, and he had very limited social skills. But it wasn't like he just didn't know how. It was more so he just didn't have time to be fake and do all the extra bullshit that everybody else was doing, trying to be around Alan. And I love it. I wish that we would have been able to get some more just elaboration on all of this in the show so that we could be able to get a better understanding of him. But Bishop deserves all the love in the world, the actor who played him, because that guy stole the show. Even in this last scene, the only other person other than Ali that I couldn't take my eyes off was Bishop. But after all of that, after the whole storyline of them is figured out, it ends with Ali going back to the house out in Texas. It had just a random little Christian family that Rue had been living with while she had been trying to get back from over the border. And it's hopeful. I can see how some people will not like the whole overly Christian stuff that's part of the ending. I myself I did not mind at all. In fact, I really appreciated it. And yeah, we see this girl, and I don't know if I went over it when I first started talking about this season, but in the first episode, Rue is trying to get back from Mexico. She ends up staying with a family who lived close to the border. Like I said, they were a super religious family, very Christian. And they took her in. She lied about a lot of stuff, about what she was, about where she was going, everything like that. Then she said something about being on a missionary mission. And she even gets a ride to the bus station from from one of the daughters of this family, who she does look a little out of place. She's got very clear lip fillers and everything like that. So she can tell she looks more like a girl that would be in LA than in Texas, especially rural Texas. But they become close. And this girl, she really shares with Rue how she dreams of being in the big city, dreams of just exploring the world. And we're left with her just having that curiosity when the last time we see her in episode 1. And so when you see Ali come back and have to deliver the news of Rue passing on, you just see the look on this girl's face of shock, of sadness, and of just questioning if that same world that she wanted to explore so much before, if it was really worth it. You see the same sort of look in her face when Ali is leading the family in prayer at their dinner table. And it's a beautiful thing. I think that whole scene is beautiful. I know some people have complained about the girl in that scene, about the daughter in that family, and just how she doesn't look like an actual rural woman. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, I feel like I got exactly what he was going for, and I loved it. But the biggest thing that I enjoyed about this episode, the one thing that really sort of broke my heart, as Ali is doing prayer, as he's talking about Rue and how much she meant to him, we see Rue. We see her at the end of the table. We see her spirit just sort of holding hands and smiling at him and everything. And the one thing that really almost broke me, that's sort of almost breaking me now as I think about it, is that throughout this entire show of Euphoria, throughout seasons 1, 2, and up until this very scene, every time we see Zendaya, she's got no makeup on. She's looking tired. She's looking rough. Even when she was at those parties in the first couple seasons, she's just looking like she looks like a party girl who's just out there who's out there going hard. It isn't until this final season of her at that dinner table where we just see her with some light in her face, that brightness. Again, Zendaya is such a great actress because it's the facial expression that she just puts on. She looks at peace. I feel like for the first time in that entire show, I just see Rue at peace. I see her happy. I see her not overly stressed about everything else. And the only other time I can remember seeing it was at the end of season 2, as she's walking out of the auditorium, just hopeful for her future. And she can't be hopeful anymore because she's not there. But I at least love that Sam ended the show by trying to show us that she's in a better place, that she is happy, that she is okay. Selfishly, I really wanted her to live. I wanted her to be able to move on. When I look at Rue, and I've been trying to figure this out, I've been trying to really understand why I feel so emotional about this death of this character, and I feel like it's because I've been really, really close to people who have dealt with shit. who've had addiction problems that I didn't even know they had when I met them. And I hate to see this story of this beautiful character that reminds me in so many ways of the people that I know. I hate to see it just end that way and her not getting that happy ending, that closure, like to being able to look forward to the future. And I know that it's realistic. I know that what he was going for and that people don't always get that chance, but I don't really give a damn. I wanted to have that happy ending because we already see enough bad ones in real life. You want to go see a sad story? You really want to go see a story that has such a sad, negative ending? Go read the fucking newspaper. I wanted to see Rue be able to look forward to her future. I wanted to see the final scene being her being able to see her sister Gia graduating, her and her mom reconciling, being closer together. And instead we don't even get to see her sister. We don't get to see the funeral. We didn't see the funeral. We don't see a lot of that. We don't get to see Jules' reaction. We're left with the cold reality that for a lot of addicts, that for a lot of recovering addicts, for a lot of people who have had these issues with drugs in their past, that sometimes just randomly on a day that you wouldn't expect, it just takes you. There was a lot of just crap that was thrown in on this season. Maddie and Cassie's storyline was crap. Nate's storyline was fucking stupid. Jules didn't even need to be a part of the show. I don't even know what the point of Lexi being on this season was, aside from just trying to be the somewhat regular person out of the original cast that's left. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there was a lot of bullshit that was thrown into this season. But the one arc, the one storyline that was done to, not perfection, but done almost to it, was Rue's. It's bittersweet. It hurts. I haven't really gotten this attached to a character in a while, and I can't put it into words why I did. But it's hard. So if I have to tell y'all anything, it's that if you really want to be able to enjoy Euphoria and be able to leave it on a good note, stop after season 2. Yeah, Fez and Ashtray have that negative ending, and we know that Ashtray dies. But damn it, we at least get to see Rue hopeful for a future. We at least get to leave that season thinking that Fez is just going to be going to prison without having, especially if you don't really know what happened to the actor. Because season 3's real message at the end of the day. It just feels like sometimes you can try to run as far as you can. You can try to devise as many ways out as possible. But at the end of the day, when it's your time, it's your time. And if them demons are coming after you, if they grab a hold of you, sometimes you're just not going to be able to let go. Those are my thoughts on Euphoria season 3. I don't think it's a bad season overall. I think Rue's story arc itself is at least able to save this shit from being a complete dumpster fire to being a 6 out of 10 or a 7 if I'm being generous. But yeah, no, the show was completely all over the fucking place outside of Rue's story arc. Jules was wasted. Lexi wasted. A lot of other characters just like, what the fuck are we doing? It is not the same show at all. But yeah, Rue, that is the story of Rue Bennett. I hope that she found peace. I hope that Zendaya is satisfied with the way that she did that, the way she portrayed that character. Because, damn it, girl, you deserve another Emmy. But this has been Kinetic Aesthetic. This has been your boy Germ. I'm out.